the way.
We're wanted men.
I have spoken.
So we did things a little different this week. This Book of Boba Fett could not wait a week for us to discuss it while I was in New Orleans. So you're listening to the second half of the Smuggler's Galaxy podcast, and I'm here. Hi.
Hi. Wait, second half? What do you mean? What am I supposed to do?
Weren't you going to record like a news or something, or do you just want to?
We could just do a whole episode now if
All
you
right,
have
well,
time.
let's just do a whole.
I'll edit
episode.
it later.
All
so
right,
you
cool.
just throw me the file.
All right.
Yeah, it was like yeah, this can't wait. We can't wait a week and a half. We have to talk about this.
Wow. Anyway, what do you want to discuss? You want to discuss? Oh shit!
I mean,
all right,
I do have some news, but
yeah.
All right, let's take a step back, listener.
Right.
We're recording this on Tuesday, February 2nd, Groundhog Day.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday. Our show releases on Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. You can see we're off to a great start here already.
Mm-hmm.
The Kowakian monkey lizard did see its shadow, so there's 6 more weeks of winter.
Woohoo!
But yeah, so we're gonna record this not on Saturday. We're recording this right after the show aired because you're off to Chewbacca. Can you tell us what Chewbacca is? Is that Chewbacca's? Is that where people walk in costume and lift up their fur to get beads?
Yes. It's
Really?
well, kind of. It's a sci-fi themed walking parade. So it's got like I think 107 different crews, and each of them are a mix of something of sci-fi and something else.
Yeah.
So there's probably like 10 different Star Wars. There's a Doctor Who. I think there's a Back to the Future one. I'm sure there's a Bill and Ted one. There's Star Trek. It's just a big old sci-fi parade. They're actually they have a bar called Dat Dog on the top of Dat Dog off Frenchman Street that they have Chewbacca's like their idol, where the Indian lady with like the 6 arms.
Mm-hmm.
They've got that Chewbacca version of that in this bar, and it's got a big sci-fi theme, and it's pretty cool. So we've been wanting to go to it for a couple of years, and we found the B&B that's actually on the parade route that we went to in 2020, right before the shit hit the fan. And we've just been meaning to go back, and this is the year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, yeah.
So you just plan on sitting out on the front porch, I guess? And
no,
watch
I'm going to be right on the sidewalk in the middle of everything.
Do they pass out beads or candy or something?
They make a whole bunch of handmade throws.
Oh, okay.
So everything's handmade. I'm sure there's going to be beads, but the majority of the stuff is handmade, and it's kind of coveted. So what I did today was I bought a bunch of $1 liquor shot bottles, like airplane bottles. So I'm going to hand those out, see if I can entice people to give me like the good shit.
Is this in New Orleans or is it?
Yeah, it's in New Orleans. It starts like East New Orleans, or like I don't know my New Orleans geography that good, but it starts there, kind of goes down Elysian, then into Frenchman Street, then down I think Decatur, all the way down towards like the where the aquarium is, and then they have a big party that night. But I think we're just going to go hang out at Frenchman after that. So it'll be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know if you see a streetcar named Desire.
Haha, probably.
Stella.
But yeah, there's a big pink, like their mascot is a pink Wookiee. Like bright pink Wookiee.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just looking forward to getting back down there, because it's been, like I said, it's been 2020. I hadn't seen my grandma in 2 years. So we're gonna take the day on Monday and go check her, see how she's doing, which it will be fun. I don't know. She called me the other day and it's just like, you got to wear a mask and, going over the rules. And I'm like, I'm good. You just tell me what to do. And then she's like, well, we can have lunch. And I'm like, how are we going to have lunch if you want us wearing a mask in your house? But we'll see.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You'll make
fun.
it work. When
Yeah.
there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly. So, and she's like 92.
I think that's what my grandmother is.
She sounded just like my grandma a minute ago.
Yeah.
Except mine's got a Cajun accent.
My grandma's not that cool. She's got a Pittsburgh accent. She washes clothes. She'll clean the toilet. And she can't say pretzel. She says prenzel.
Prenzel.
Get
Yeah,
the
my grandma
prenzels.
will look at me and goes, there's this show called Frasier. I like this show called Frasier. Do you watch Frasier? And I'm just like, yes.
Yes, I liked it 20 years ago.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. I ended up pulling in my case over the weekend
Yeah.
because we kind of insinuated that I was going to do that in the last episode.
Yes.
We recorded that on Saturday and I was just like, I'm going to do it. So I did it. Nearly pulled my back in the process.
Oh, damn.
Didn't though. I thought I did. I felt that little twitch in the lower part of my back as I was lifting it up the stairs. We have like 5 steps that go from the garage into my display room. And I felt it and I screamed. I'm like, oh no, I just pulled my back. And I didn't feel anything.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm like, maybe it's going to be another 2 weeks before I start to feel it. I'm going to like bend over to pick up a shoe or something and it's just going to go.
Or you're going to sneeze and then there it goes.
There it goes. But I got it in. I moved all my micro machines. I was just so happy to get all the micro machines into one case because they were kind of spread out throughout the room. So I got that. And then I made our video.
Yes.
I normally do like a preview video. And my Han Solo, my green Han Solo fell because he's not made for production. He was just like thrown together.
Uh-huh.
And so he fell. So I had to open up the case, stand him back up, and then take the video for our video, record some new footage for it. And then I misplaced the key. The next day, because of Han Solo falling over, I got these transparent stands that kind of attach to the waist. You just gently hold it around the waist.
Yeah.
And it holds the figure up. And I went to go put it in, and I'm like, where's the key? I had no clue where I put the key. I was scratching my head like, what the hell? And I remember thinking, maybe I'll put it underneath Darth Vader. Darth Vader can protect the key. It's like a way for me to remember, where the key is. And so I couldn't find the freaking key. And I was looking everywhere and I was worried, like, what did I do? It could be anywhere in this house. My wife thought I had it in the laundry room for some reason. I put it on the shelf. I'm like, I don't remember having the key in the laundry room. Long story short, it was in my pants pocket.
Yeah. At least you found it.
Yeah, I found it.
While you were taking off your pants, you found it, or going through?
No, I went to bed and I'm like, well, I didn't check the pants pocket. So this was the next day, by the way. And then I pulled out the pants in the dirty laundry and there it was.
And you're ding, and
I'm just so relieved.
Jeez. Did you get those stands off Amazon?
I did. Yeah, they came in 2 days. I also got a remote starter for the light switch.
Yeah.
So I just plug it into the wall and I hit the app on my phone. I turn it on and the lights turn on. The thing I have to worry about now is the heat from the fluorescent.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
So I know there's LEDs. So I don't know what to do, if I should put a thermometer in. I don't think it's going to get a couple 100 degrees in there, but I don't want it to risk it. And
I think it's far enough away from stuff. I don't know how close you have it to stuff, but I did burn one of the Riddle helmets in my old case before I swapped the light out. I put it like, I didn't even think about it. And I put it right underneath that light. And I look at it a couple of days later and it kind of melted, but I was able to find a new at least snap for Vader. So, but yeah, those LEDs are great. It's a total mind F because you could like touch a light and it not burn on an LED.
Right. So something to look into. I need to look into LED fluorescent lights now.
Yeah. Well, I probably should buy one too. It's like a 4-foot light, ain't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I hooked mine up to my Alexa, so I can say, Alexa, turn on case, but the Alexa's not in here. It's in the other room, so I got to kind of be a little louder.
I just don't want people listening all the time to the stuff going on in my house.
Yeah. It's scary because I will have a conversation with my wife about something, and then I'm on Instagram, and there's the same There's an ad for what we were just talking about, which is awesome. But yeah, the only thing that I did,
What?
nothing. I didn't know if we were going into
I have a
whatever. Go ahead. You want to do the news first, or you want to?
Yeah,
Well,
I have a
or you
couple.
want me to tell you about my week? What happened with me when Target?
Nobody cares.
Okay, fine.
No, go ahead.
Target canceled my damn Fed orders.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. The only thing is we got a notification that we had
Why?
to update. I guess we had to update the red card, and we updated the red card. And my wife's like, I don't know how to do it. And I looked at it, and I'm like, the red card's updated to the new red card, but I don't know if it didn't update it to that transaction. And I get a notification yesterday that they canceled both of them. So
Which ones were these?
the droids. The
So you
droid,
had the vintage collection and the 6-inch.
6-inch got canceled.
Damn.
I guess I'll be paying $50 for the 6-inch one.
I'll keep my eyes out for one. So you need one of each, okay?
Well,
Noted.
I'd rather have a 6-inch than a TVC, but because whatever. Either one or both. I don't care.
I'll keep my eyes open.
You always do. You always have a way of finding that stuff.
Yeah, when there's a will, there's a way. Like I said, maybe that's the theme of this episode. I don't know.
Well, you're also crazy enough to run out to Target at 8:00 in the morning on a Sunday.
Yeah, our lunchtime. I went this past Monday to see because there was a report that those Boba Fett droid figures, vintage collection, hit a shelf in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're register locked. So I went to Target in Smyrna. Oh, and that's where I found the Black Series, the Hoth Rebel base.
I saw
But instead of Han and Leia, it was Lando and Janna. Somebody had swapped it out. And it's been a long time since I've seen one of those.
Yeah.
But there they were. And I all I could do was laugh. I mean, it looked like they were supposed to be there. They did a really good job putting those figures back into it.
I wonder how they get through that stuff, or people just don't care, or
They just don't care. As long as everything looks sealed, UPC's match, the receipt is legit, they'll take it back.
Damn. I don't need a figure that bad.
No. Cheat this system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
I heard you on SDQ's podcast today.
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
Yeah.
Answering questions about the barge. And then I had that story that I've told before. I've told you with the Mark Boudreau story, right? I met him in Celebration.
No, I don't remember, but you might have.
Yeah. Well, I met him at Celebration Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And that didn't really fit in. So I answered all the questions. I sent it to him. And I said, by the way, I met Mark. He was a really nice guy. And David's like, whoa, put that whole story in. Because I told him the whole story. And kind of gave an abridged version now. But
I hadn't made it that far in the episode yet.
Oh, spoiler alert.
So how did you meet Mark Boudreau? Say it, because you already spilled the beans.
Yeah, I met him in Celebration. So I was on my way to Starbucks, and I see the Hasbro team was all in matching shirts, and they were coming from their panel, and they were walking the hall going to the booth, I think, to answer questions. And I saw Mark Boudreau, and I've seen him so many times because he was a key figure in the promotion of the sail barge. He would come out and he would talk about the sail barge, and with Steve Evans right next to him and stuff. And so I stopped him. I'm like, hey, are you Mark Boudreau? He's like, yes, I am. And I'm like, oh, I just wanted to say you did a great job with the sail barge. And he was like, oh, well, it was a team effort. I'm like, of course it was a team effort. Please let them know that, one fan stopped you in the halls to say you and the team did a great job, and just, to kind of take that message back. And he's like, oh, will do. And then I asked him for a photo, because I mean, he's worked on every single Millennium Falcon that's ever made.
Right. And
so I had to get a photo with him. And my wife was watching his wife as she took the photo, and her face was just so bright. Mark's wife's face was so bright, and it was just like, she was just so happy that he was getting the praise that he deserves.
Yeah.
And he was being treated like a rock star.
That's awesome. Did you tell Jerry that story?
I think so. I don't know if I did.
I think he's like, Mark Boudreau is like the one guy he wants to meet, or if he hasn't met him or something, he's the one, because he's worked on the Falcon and everything.
Yeah. Like every Falcon though.
Yeah.
Up to a point.
Yeah. Up until like recently.
Yeah. Because he retired during the pandemic.
Yes.
which is part of the problem. Some of the old guard is not there anymore, so they got this younger crowd coming in, re-releasing Boba Fett like within 2 months, slapping fans in the face, saying, "You're gonna eat this, chew."
Right. He's got a new belt, a new paint deco.
And it's not like they just did it once. Right afterwards, they did the Black Series version. They did it with the vintage, and now they're doing it with Black Series.
Yeah.
So much so that I had to take basically a magnifying glass to the photos and try to figure out what's different. Oh, this one's got a cloth difference. This one has a new belt. It's like, come on, guys, get your shit together.
You know,
Sorry,
Jason's frustrated
earmuffs.
when he curses.
Earmuffs. I know we said we weren't gonna cuss anymore, but
yeah, when they keep throwing you softballs, you got to kind of at least acknowledge it, you know?
yeah, it's and it's like they announce on Monday, tomorrow this pre-order's going live, and then the pre-order comes. Oh, sorry, not yet. Sorry, we're not ready. What happened in a day? That
It's
you couldn't?
supposed to, yeah. Go ahead.
No, what? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was gonna say it's supposed to go live the 8th for Walmart.
Yeah, so it's gonna go live on the 8th. But what happened in that day that they announced it, where they had to stop? Did they not tell Walmart you're getting this? I don't know.
Knowing
It's just
them,
it's ridiculous. And this is the reason why I think people are going to be dipping from modern collecting soon.
yeah, that and the change in the packaging and the change in the price points, and it's just getting ridiculous. I know I don't collect it.
And it's like it's tough to figure out which ones I pre-ordered if they all look the same.
God. Yes.
And if they're store exclusives and another one comes out and I don't remember ordering this Boba Fett, or if I think I already ordered this Boba Fett, like, where do I go? Which store do I check?
Yeah. Or how do I make sure I have the right enough money in that account to pay for said stuff? I
do think it's time to get some fresh blood on the Star Wars team. I'm never ever promoting someone getting fired. I would just shift things around. Maybe bring somebody in the Marvel team onto Star Wars, because if the strategy is just repack, I don't think they're serving the community as well as they could, and they're not giving us what we want. We don't want 4 clones of Boba Fett, 1, 2, 3, 4, when there's so many other characters we could get.
Yes. There's a lot.
I get it from a business point of view.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm on the Star Wars line, I need to keep costs low, and I know that Boba Fett's going to sell. I'm going to squeeze every ounce of Boba Fett I have out of the fruit to make Boba Fett juice. And it's going to be cheap because you're just using the one melon. I don't know what I'm saying right now.
Right.
They're using the same mold over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
it just gets old.
It is old.
But I don't know, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Anthony Daniels posted on Instagram that he's in a motion capture suit, which was kind of confusing because I thought he retired from C-3PO.
Maybe is he doing the droids cartoon thing?
It's possible that he's doing some sort of motion capture, because I do think that that's an ILM project.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also in that Galaxy's Edge Oculus game.
Oh,
We just bought that over the weekend, so he could be coming back for a game like that.
Yeah, or they could just be getting more motion capture stuff for him, to have stuff on file. Maybe
it's quite possible. I mean, who knows? It's all speculation at this point. But he is coming back to Star Wars for something.
Yay!
But I think the only other piece of news, there's some people who picked up the Black Series Holiday Edition figures at a toy show.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just wondering if at this point they're just going to hold it for a couple months to the end of the year.
You mean till 2022?
Yeah, I'm certain that's a casualty of the shipping issues that we were experiencing, because of the pandemic and all that.
Mm-hmm. So how'd they get them at a toy show?
A couple always slip through.
Okay.
I mean, they could be released in Singapore because it's just like one block down from the factory or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's how a lot of people are getting the early release droid stuff. People are shipping it to them.
Yeah. Yep. That's all the news I have. I was starting to get worked up there with the Hasbro stuff. I gotta back down. I can't be that person. I can't get mad.
Yeah, you can. Come on.
I just don't want to be complaining all the time about Hasbro. And I feel like it's just gonna happen all the time.
Yeah, it will. Well, they keep throwing us, like I said, softballs, man. They need to quit throwing us softballs. Quit,
The other piece of news is
Uh-huh.
that Lucas, well, we mentioned this already. Lucasfilm re-up their contract with Hasbro, and I'm just hoping that there's some sort of change in the rate. I mean, Star Wars is just a very expensive licensed property, and
Right.
so to make something off of that, it costs a lot of money. And then on top of that, there's the whole secrecy thing. They can't make figures until after a show gets premiered. So I'm hoping that goes away so they can make things like, the next day we have a figure from the next episode of The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett that I don't want to reveal yet because we haven't given the spoiler thing.
Right. Oh, yes, Book of Boba Fett. Yes, but then how long? I mean, on the Marvel stuff, how long is that stuff? Is that stuff from like Loki? Has that stuff been released?
Yeah. Yeah, they would reveal like Sylvie the next day,
Mhm.
and then she was available like a week later.
But people were getting it in hands. It's not like we're on now
Yeah.
where you pre-order it. Jesus.
Yeah, I remember walking Joe Fest and Sylvie and Loki were there.
Okay.
And wasn't that a summer project or a May release
I think
of Loki?
so. Yeah. It would have been right. Yeah, that's fast. Wow.
Yeah. So there is some sort of deal there with Marvel that they can make this stuff in advance.
Damn it.
Damn it,
Yeah.
Marvel! Why do you get everything?
Because they're not assholes. Maybe I don't want to say assholes, but maybe because Luke, I really think, or I think it might be because Kenner held Lucasfilm, Lucas's feet to the fire for so long, and now I think they're just getting back at him.
Maybe, but at the same time, it's a whole new batch of management. There's fresh blood in there, and it's the old wounds wouldn't be carried over. It's not like George Lucas is leaving and saying, "Oh, by the way, you really need to stick it to Hasbro for the next 12 years," because they said so.
Right. Kathleen Kennedy do this.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, they keep saying he's going to come back and do something.
He's going to come back and save Star Wars. It would be cool to see him direct an episode of The Mandalorian or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, he's retired making his independent movies that no one will ever see.
I didn't even.
He does that.
Does he really make movies? Still making movies?
That was he said he wanted to retire and make experimental movies that he shows no one and it's only for him.
Oh. Well, that's kind of stupid.
Tell us how you really feel about that idea, Glenn.
Let me introduce you to my buddy George McFly.
It's my density. But yeah, I mean, that's what he wanted to do, and he hasn't done anything since except his museum that's going to be popping up in LA soon.
Yeah, that would have been cool. They were talking about putting that in Chicago, and I was kind of excited because I like Chicago, and it would have given me a reason to go back.
Chicago.
Oh
yeah, the Bears. But yeah, that
Bears. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to stop beating around the bush and get into the reason why you call this emergency podcast?
Yeah. Yeah, because I couldn't wait a week to talk about this, man. Jeez, and I think you guys really wanted to hear it because it's blowing up the freaking internet.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't any of the fan groups, any of the clubs that spoiled it today. It was one of the quote news. All right, we're going into spoilers from this point on. So if you haven't seen the episode, you've had a week. I'm sorry, but it was a video. It was a link on Facebook linking to a YouTube video saying, "Who is Cad Bane?" And I'm like, why of all days would you release this today?
Oh, and then you started connecting the dots.
Yeah. I was excited, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, it would have been a nice reveal.
Oh, that was such a good reveal. It was
This
right
whole-
up. It was right up there with the Ahsoka reveal, dude. But Ahsoka, I mean, well,
this had some.
this at least had a. Is that what I think it is? Moment.
Yeah, for me, I knew who it was immediately, not just because of that. I knew from the silhouette that that's who
Right.
that is. But,
Well, you saw the silhouette and you were like, "That son of a bitch really did it," and then you were like,
crazy son of a bitch.
"Yeah,
did it.
yeah, that crazy son of a bitch."
He did it. That crazy son of a bitch did it. Yes, yes, yes.
And
I
then
could do
you're-
it better. I'm not.
Yeah, you're not prepared, but and then he gets closer and closer, and you're like, "Oh my god, it really is him." And I was looking for the rockets, for the ankle rockets, and they didn't have his ankle rockets.
Oh yeah, he didn't have that.
But oh gosh, and then the freaking reveal where he tilts his head up, and you're just like,
Yeah,
"Oh my, that's
they
a
got the
scary
same
looking
voice.
dude."
Yeah, that was an incredible. I think I like the Cad Bane reveal a little bit more than Ahsoka for me.
Yeah. Well, the Ahsoka was just
Personally.
sort of boom, here she is, and you knew she was coming. This was a total off left field reveal.
Yeah.
And you thought he was going to fight with Boba Fett, not against Boba Fett.
No, yeah, right. But it makes sense because there was some sort of previs of the Clone Wars with Cad Bane fighting Boba Fett, and Cad Bane gives Boba Fett the dented helmet.
Yeah. So we're going to get to probably see that play out in live action.
Well, yeah. So yeah, we'll see. It's still pretty exciting. I mean, ugh. So
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I think I said "oh shit" about 4 times at this episode.
I did not swear, but I jumped up and down a couple of times. But yeah,
Yeah.
the Pikes are finally the ruthless Pikes that I know from the Clone Wars and all those other ancillary tales.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also have speaking of tales, remind me, I have a theory at the end of this podcast that I want to share. But yeah,
right.
they seem deadlier now in this show.
Yeah. All of a sudden it's like, whoa. But yeah, let's start at the beginning and then we'll work our way back.
The Pikes are trading spice.
I didn't understand that. It's like, if they're trading spice with other Pikes, why are they doing it in the middle of the desert? And why is there only one speeder that only holds 2 people? And there's 4 of them.
It's Star Wars.
Yeah. Overthinking.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. That was a little unclear. Like, why are they there? What's going on? But yeah, the Pikes are there trading, and then Cobb comes to break it up. I loved Cobb saying, "Think it through."
Yeah.
With authority, with with authority and intent in his voice. I will gun you down if I need to.
Yeah.
Think it through.
He was
But yeah, then
badass.
he was telling the Pikes to get the hell out of there, and then the Pikes it looked like they were about to leave, but then they started reaching for their gun, and Cobb was a little faster and a little smarter. He took out the 3 that were about to kill him, and then he tells the other guy, "Think it through. You look like the smart one."
Yeah.
So yeah, he makes a deal with them to get the hell out of there, but leave the spice. And all he does is he just kicks open the spice. And I thought there'd be like a lightsaber or something in there because they said it was worth more than the town.
Yeah. Well, spice is expensive.
Did you just hear me burp?
I saw you make a face and I didn't know what it was for.
I burped, but you didn't hear it?
No, I didn't hear it.
All right, I'll cut that out.
All right. 39 minutes.
39 minutes. I'm not writing it down. I'll have to remember it. And then we cut to the title, which was "From the Desert Comes a Stranger," which I thought was a really cool title.
Yeah.
Which goes back to what happens in the end. And it ties to what we just saw at the beginning. It was directed by Dave Filoni, written by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Yes.
And then from there, we're cutting back to the Mandalorian flying through on his N1 starfighter to some sort of paradise planet, and R2D2 is guiding him in. And I knew from the censored dish that it was R2.
I don't know what it is, but in the past like 2-3 years, I have gotten a really soft spot for R2D2. I don't know why. Maybe it's just like that's the one character that can never really change, that stays constant.
Maybe you've come to your senses.
Maybe I have. But yeah, I that was my first. Well, it wasn't really. It was just sort of a watershed moment. You were just like, "It's R2. Why am I crying? Why am I tearing up? Why are my eyes watering?" A moment.
Yeah. So R2's guiding him in, and then we kind of cut to some spider droids building a Jedi temple. They're just laying brick by brick, one at a time. They're pulling bricks, and they're building like an arch dome, and it looks just like the Octu huts that we saw in The Last Jedi, which I liked. And with this episode, I finally felt for the first time that they're blending in everything we've seen before in Star Wars. Prequels, Clone Wars, original trilogy, and sequel trilogy was all coming together here. And for the first time, because I kind of felt like it was carpentalized. Oh, talking is tough. Carpentalized. No, it's not the
Oh shit. Carpet.
Yeah.
I know what you're trying to say now, but now you got me screwed up. Compartmentalize. Something like that. Jesus. Here we go. It's this word.
Compartmentalize. Compartmentalize.
Compartmentalize. Anyways, they're siloed, and they're in their each silo, and they feel like they're in their each silo. Like, it's very tough to see the stuff in the sequel trilogy relate. It just, there's so much time that gap, right? So much time between the trilogies that it just feels like there's a lot that happened. This doesn't feel like what I just saw in Return of the Jedi.
So are those did we see those spider droids before?
No, but what they were building, we saw in Octu.
Right. You're still caught up on
compartmentalize.
Yes. Din Djarin.
Yes. Anyways, I'm leaving this. I'm moving on.
All right.
Can't believe I can't say that word. But anyways, R2 falls asleep, just leaving Mandalorian alone. But before he kind of falls asleep, he beeps something to these droids, and the droids start building a bench. And then the Mandalorian's like, "Is that a bench? Like, what am I supposed to do?" Then we cut to the money shot, Luke and Grogu meditating.
Mm-hmm.
And Grogu sees one of his frogs, and he's distracted because his stomach is talking. He's very young in spirit. He just doesn't feel like he's ready to become a Jedi, and I don't know if his heart's in it, and we kind of get to that. But holy crap, this CG.
Yeah, he looks so much better. Is it because they hired that one guy?
I think so. He looks incredible, and he looks just like, he looks a little too young at times, like he's a New Hope kind of Luke, not Return of the Jedi Luke. But it's still incredible. And at first, because I wasn't sure when I first saw it how much we were going to see Luke, and at first they were he was talking off camera, so you would see him sitting there, and he looks like I'm looking at you right now. It's just incredible. But then he would cut to Grogu, and then you would hear Luke say, "Grogu." You don't see it coming from his mouth, and I'm like, oh, maybe that's what they're doing now. They're not going to be doing that where you see Luke talking, because the humans can differentiate when it's not a real human. They can see something's off because we just talk to people all day long, so we know without actually knowing that we know, so to speak. And so I thought that's their strategy, was not to show Luke talking, but then he started talking as they started walking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're pulling it off. They did it. This looks so much better than the last episode of The Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah. I did notice there was one, I think they had like a side shot or something, and you could kind of see his mouth didn't look right, but it was very, very brief.
Yes, that was the last shot, and I was not going to I was going to call that out when we got to it, but yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
95% of it worked.
Yeah.
And that was just like, holy crap. So the rumors about Harrison Ford coming back, I mean, I don't think you can have a Mark Hamill Luke without having Harrison Ford Han.
Yeah. I guess we'll see.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways.
Yeah, we need to we are.
I got derailed by trying to figure out that word.
Right.
Siloed. Everything's siloed. Anyways. And then, so like, yeah, Luke goes for a walk with Grogu and he's just like lifting him up and pulling him along because Grogu's so slow. And Luke starts telling him about Yoda, and we get the Yoda theme, the Force theme. And it was just very precious. And Luke uses the Force, like I said, to help him walk along. And then he uses the Force to help him remember. And we go back to the assault on the Jedi Temple.
Yeah.
And the thing I loved about this shot, it was all from Grogu's point of view. We saw what he would see at the end of that hallway, seeing the Jedi get gunned down, but we still have no clue who rescued him.
No. It was cool. It felt like they were trying to cheap out's the wrong word, but they're trying to save money on that shot, but it was still cool to see it.
Yeah, I could see that point of view, but it was still, like you said, it's still cool. And Filoni's a master storyteller, so I think when he leaves a scene, he's telling you his intent on what they're trying to set up. Luke's intent, because we kind of leave the scene where Luke is saying, "I'm going to help you protect yourself."
Yeah.
So it's almost like Luke is getting Grogu in a place where he can defend himself and not be the helpless victim sitting in a pram, having the Mandalorian take care of him. Maybe Grogu's going to be taking care of the Mandalorian at some point.
Don't know. Maybe.
So
well, because he's old, he's going to grow slower than the Mandalorian, and they kind of leave that there.
So yeah, I think that's the intent of this scene. The Mando wakes up to find Ahsoka standing by, and that was like, oh my gosh, there she is. Right. Ahsoka's here.
And Dave Filoni can't write anything without Ahsoka, so
apparently.
It was a cool cameo. I wasn't expecting. You were kind of like, let's see how they're gonna throw Ahsoka in this, and boom, there she is.
Yeah, and I loved how she said she was an old friend of the family.
Yeah, I forgot. I missed that, but yes. Now you hear it, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, boy. I know what she means.
Yeah.
Mando wants to see Grogu, but that's going to interfere with Grogu's training. So Ahsoka's kind of there to be a buffer between Grogu and Mando.
Because she even says that that R2 got her instead of Luke.
Right. R2 directed Mando to Ahsoka, not to Luke on purpose.
Right.
And Ahsoka asks him, are you seeing Grogu for Grogu's sake or for your own? And he kind of relents, and it's for his sake. He misses the guy and he wants to see it. And he's a foundling, and Ahsoka kind of throws out there a foundling. Perhaps he's a Padawan. Perhaps he's not with you anymore.
Yeah.
But Ahsoka says that she'll deliver the armor. And you really feel for the Mandalorian in this scene because he came all that way and all he wants to do is see Grogu. But Grogu's attached to Mando, and he's very much like a child. Like a child that age, when it wants something, you take it away, and then the child will calm down. I'll be distracted. But if you bring that item back, they'll go right back into their fit.
Yeah.
So I just don't think Grogu's ready for Jedi training like that.
No. Yeah.
But anyways. Yeah, so Mando leaves and Grogu is longing for him. He kind of sees the ship leave, and Luke is carrying him in a blue bag on his back, just like Yoda from Empire Strikes Back.
That was great. The blue backpack's back.
Yeah. He teaches Grogu how to jump using the Force. He tells Grogu, you're trying too hard. Don't try. Do. Which is a play on the famous line, do or do not, there is no try.
Right.
But then there's a montage scene of him like running through the forest, similar to the Dagobah, and they climb a tree. And Luke tells him the force is all around you. It's everywhere. Just feel it.
The musical cues on this episode were, oh my gosh,
phenomenal.
Yeah, because then they play that, my favorite bit of Star Wars music. They play that at that moment, and that it always gives me goosebumps. That one, whatever they want to call it, that one line melody gives me goosebumps every time I hear it.
Yeah. And so Luke decides to teach Grogu balance. And so there's a little scene there of him literally balancing while Luke is practicing with his lightsaber. And he pulls out a training remote to test Grogu's reflexes. Grogu gets better at jumping and dodging. He's really excelling it. You can almost see them like Mandalorian running from danger, and Grogu's just jumping off buildings, all this kind of stuff, trying to avoid blaster fire. So I think that's what they're setting up here.
Yeah.
Ahsoka tells Luke that he's taught him well. And Luke says it's almost like he's remembering. He's not being trained. He's just, things are starting to come to light that he's kind of forgotten about in a long time. And Ahsoka says sometimes it's the student who guides the master, which it goes back to her training with the Sky Guy.
Yeah. And she also says that he's just like his father.
Right. Sometimes I wonder if his heart's in it, just so much like your father.
Yeah.
Luke says, sometimes I wonder if his heart is in it. And she comments, so much like your father.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the scene where Luke doesn't look like he syncs up all the way.
Right.
And there is something off with the voice, because they did use a simulator to simulate Mark Hamill's voice. They didn't actually have Mark Hamill come back to do it. And so at times it did seem like the voice was off a little bit. I wish I could explain it more than that.
Right. I wish I could. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, it did. They did a better job on this one. I think that's where a lot of their budget ended up going to. But you could tell, I mean, if that deep fake guy's still working for him, he did a hell of a job with it.
Yeah, that's incredible. So we'll see what happens next week with Harrison Ford.
When the hell is Harrison Ford? Jeez. If he shows up.
I have some thoughts, some theories, but I was wrong about Emilia Clarke, so who knows?
Hey, she could still show up, dude.
So yeah, Ahsoka basically tells Luke, you've got a choice to make and to trust your instincts. So we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But Mando returns to Boba's palace, and we learn that, you've got the modified gang there. You've got Black K. You've got the Gamorreans there. They have all the muscle they need. They just need foot soldiers.
Let me pause you right there. Did you notice when he landed his ship that Gamorrean had more armor on?
On his shoulders.
He had a helmet on too.
Oh, did he? No, I didn't pick up on that.
Okay. I noticed that he was like, this one's starting to look normal.
Like the old times.
Yeah.
Like the old days. No, I didn't notice that, so I'll have to go back. I did notice the shoulder pads.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if I've been paying attention close enough to say last week they didn't have shoulder pads. Now they have. I just noticed that the face seemed longer, not round.
Right. Well, the one then when they were in the booth having the meeting, the war room or whatever, the one that was there was back in like his skivvies.
Yeah. So let's see. From there, Mandalorian says he can help. He knows people. He takes his ship and he flies off into the desert. We do see the sandcrawler with the crate dragon skull on top of it.
Yes.
This is the kind of stuff I thought that the sequel trilogy missed. These kind of just fun moments where, I mean, they kind of had a couple in The Force Awakens, but it was lacking from The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, where it was just, there's a character on the planet. Now let's go see what our characters are doing.
Right.
Or a creature on the planet. Sorry.
And did you notice they did sort of show their hands a little bit more? And sure enough, those are some hairy dudes.
No, I didn't notice.
Okay.
I was looking at the giant skull on top of the sandcrawler.
Well,
wondering how they got it on there.
Yeah, that too. How the hell did they do that?
Although they do have all these parts and stuff, so who knows?
All right.
What were you gonna say?
I just said, yeah. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Yeah, so they fly into Mos Pelgo, which is now known as Freetown, and there was some confusion when they called it Mos Pelgo in The Mandalorian, because in the Aftermath books by Chuck Wendig, they did refer to it as Freetown. So I was a little confused why Cobb Vanth was the Marshal of Freetown, but they were calling it Mos Pelgo, but it's all clarified now. They're all Freetown. They live in Freetown.
They retconned that bitch.
Yeah, call Filoni and he'll fix it.
Yeah.
So Mando flies in, he lands his ship, and the deputy comes out. And you think for a moment that maybe Cobb Vanth is off doing something, and he's left this guy in charge because the deputy is just a little too eager to be like, "Hey, you got to move your vehicle, sir. You got to move your vehicle. You can't park there."
Right.
And then we see Cobb Vanth kind of over the shoulder and just like, "Chill, dude, relax." Cut to a scene inside the bar where Mando wants to hire Cobb Vanth. Cobb says it just doesn't feel like it's his fight, despite I'm tired. Mando telling Cobb, the Pikes are going to be everywhere. It's not just here, or not just Mos Eisley. They're going to be, taking over the entire planet to run spice.
Right. Did you notice in the bar was the crate dragon skeleton?
Yeah.
Is that new?
That's new. Yeah, I noticed that. That's pretty cool. I mean, they're kind of like their souvenir from war.
Yeah, and like you said, they're catching up with stuff, and something's different. Unlike in A New Hope and when Uncle Owen was supposed to paint the ceiling, he still hadn't painted it 20 years later.
Right. They have made modifications.
Yeah.
I love Filoni's writing. Cobb says it just doesn't feel like it's his fight, and Boba Fett. God damn it!
Dang ferret!
Dang ferret! Mandalorian kind of is asking him to help, and Cobb says that big smile of yours lets you get away with anything. And obviously, he's wearing a helmet, so he's not really smiling, or we don't know if he's smiling. But that's just Filoni's great writing.
Yeah.
Because I personally wouldn't have said that because you can't see a smile. So why would you write that?
And I think it's just, Cobb Vanth coming, being a little bit of a jerk and busting his balls. And I think that was the best, one of the best casting jobs they could have done for that character, because Timothy Olaf plays a cowboy so good. And it's just total cowboy martial. It's almost the exact same character he played in oh Jesus, that movie Justified. Yes.
Justified. And then he was also in that Deadwood.
Yeah, I never saw Deadwood.
Probably should have seen it either, but I've heard it's like an incredible show.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get to it later. I do have HBO Go.
I do now. It's on HBO. Maybe I need to binge that next.
But yeah, so the Mandalorian kind of makes it more direct. I'm asking for a favor, and Cobb's like, all right, let me talk to people and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So Mando flies off. And then from the desert comes a stranger.
Yes.
And I knew right away when I saw the silhouette in the waves of the oasis. It's not an oasis, it's the heat coming off from the sand, but it waves the air to make it skewered, and you don't see exactly who it is, but I could tell from the silhouette. Yeah, that's who I think it is.
You saw the hat, and then you saw the jacket flapping, and yeah, I called the dude in Bad Batch. Why do you think they resized his hat? Because they didn't want to put that big of a brim on a live action.
Yeah, and I was a little disappointed in that because I wanted the wide brim. That goes back to A New Hope. They had a character kind of illustrated to look like that.
Oh, okay.
And I think George went to Dave Filoni and said, make this guy a character in your show.
Oh, you mean with the brim or with the, because I know that. Brim. Okay. Because that character
it did have a lot of Western flair to it, that original one.
The last half of this episode's total old school Western.
Yeah. And they really leaned in on it, and it was just awesome.
Yeah.
It's a whole showdown.
Oh,
Cobb tells what?
Yeah. No, you were getting there, and I'll tell you, say it when you say it, after you say it.
Yeah, Cad Bane tells Cobb, whatever Fett's paying you, we'll match.
Oh no.
And the other thing is, I knew right away when I saw Cad Bane, I'm like, oh my God, the Pikes have hired him to take out Cobb for what he did at the start of the show.
Oh, nice.
That's what the Pikes did. They hired him as a bounty hunter to hunt down the sheriff that messed up that one deal to make an example of him.
Nice grab. But when the deputy kept coming out and kept, Cobb kept telling him to stay in, and he kept sneaking in, and it's like, if looks could kill, man.
Yeah, that deputy was just, he should have been wearing a red shirt.
Yes. That's a show called Star Trek. That's a
Is that
reference
where that
to
came
that.
from? I thought that was from Galaxy Quest.
No, it's a okay. So when you watch the old what?
I know.
Okay, fine.
I know. Are you telling the audience? Go ahead, tell the audience.
Yeah. Oh no, it's fine. In the old school Star Trek, whenever they needed people to die, they had red shirts on. So the first people to die had red shirts.
Yeah. The people from down below.
Yeah.
Below deck.
Anyway, the extras.
Yeah. And it was cool because Cad Bane and Cobb Vanth were trying to size each other up, and that deputy was just getting in the way.
Yeah.
Just like the fly that Cobb Vanth, which he could just flip away with his hand.
Yeah.
Shoo
And
fly, don't bother me.
And as quick as a draw as Cobb Vanth was, Cad Bane was a little bit better.
Yeah, so yeah, Cad Bane says, whatever Fett's paying you, we'll match it. The deputy comes out and says, the share's not for sale. And Cad tells the Cobb not to stick his nose in places where it doesn't belong. Cobb tells him that tattooing is closed for spice running, and then Cad tells Cobb you should never have given up your armor. And they flip open his jacket, and he reaches for this gun, and those fingers just looked incredible. I don't know if you paid attention to that, but
yeah, they did such a good job bringing this guy to life, man.
Makeup, yeah, it's just stellar. And I'm trying to figure out like where the makeup ended and where it started to the UCG. I mean, they brought in the same voice actor. I mean, that's the exact same voice from the Clone Wars. The teeth were incredible.
They did
Just
such
seeing Cobb Vanth in live action was just, it was like, I'm happy today.
Yeah, I hate saying it. I think they did a better job with him than they did Ahsoka. I think maybe just because we're so used to they kept him closer to the cartoon version.
Maybe.
Or maybe because it was just easier, or maybe because we were just like, oh shit, this guy's evil looking. And then Ahsoka's just a totally different actress. But it's still, I'm still having, when I was watching Rosario Dawson on this, it was still like a little bit jarring to see her playing Ahsoka, even though I'm used to it. The thoughts, we've had a year to deal with it. But anyway.
Yeah, deal with it. Get over it.
I'm trying to.
But yeah, then the deputy is just way too eager to just make his mark on doing good. And he reaches for his gun, but Cad Bane shoots Cobb Vanth first. He shoots him in the shoulder, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Who knows if he's wearing armor underneath it? Armor that we don't see. I don't think so. It'd be foolish just to go out there without armor, though, especially in a Star Wars world.
Maybe he has a one of the things from a kettle, not a kettle, but a stove, iron, wood burning stove.
Cast iron door.
Yeah, cast iron door from a wood burning stove. Puts it under his shirt.
Bulletproof vest. Genius. So yeah, he shoots Cobb once, and then he unloads on that deputy quite a few times.
Yeah.
And he tells everyone that Tatooine is mind everyone's business or something like that.
Yeah, that it belongs to the Syndicate.
But yes, Tatooine belongs to the Syndicate. Thank you. That's what he says. And then I'm going on memory because this is where I cut in because you said it's time to record, and I stopped watching it for my second time. But then the Syndicate goes to the sanctuary with Camtono,
dude,
and they a couple Twi'leks ask the Pikes if we can, give you a helmet cleaning, and the Pikes say no.
Do you
then
think
they just walk out?
Do you think that's code for something else? Sorry, I'm being dirty for a minute. Never mind.
I think it's payment, because if you think back to the first couple episodes, they ask the same thing, and then they come back with a helmet worth of golden credits and stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it's code for when it's somebody of that stature.
Maybe.
Or it could just be, can I take your hat?
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, then the Pikes leave, but they don't have the Camtono, and there's that protocol droid who's like, excuse me, you've left this. And
you have that brief I had that brief moment to be like, no, they're not going to do this in Star Wars.
Yeah, they did.
And
the Syndicate. It's just lifted from gangster movies.
Right.
Leaving a message. They blow up the sanctuary and they kill. Well, we don't know if they kill her, but Jessica Biel's character.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down. It's not Mock Shays. That's the
other dude. He was
That's the
great in this
mayor.
one too. He comes
Yeah.
in where they're talking and he's all like, well, actually, it was a scheduled vacation. And everybody kind of stares him down. He's okay, I'm going to creep back in my
I'm
corner.
gonna creep back. So after that, we see the sanctuary gets destroyed, and we cut to Luke Skywalker with Grogu, and he pulls out the armor and he offers Grogu Yoda's lightsaber.
Oh my God.
He tells Grogu, you have to choose your path. Do you want to choose the path of a Jedi, or do you want to choose the path of your attachment and the people that you love?
Yeah.
And I think Grogu's gonna go back to the Mandalorian.
You really think so?
Yeah, I think the whole point of this Luke thing is just to set up to give Grogu some skills to defend himself, so he's not helpless anymore. He can do stuff.
Yeah, that, and I read something that in whichever movie they set up that Ben was the first student, not Grogu. So maybe that's what it is.
I don't remember saying that.
You didn't say it. I read it on Facebook.
No, I'm seeing that. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you kind of stayed off Facebook today for the most part.
Yeah.
It was out today. So that's probably why you didn't see it. So I'm just
Hondo's the only character left from the Clone Wars that I want to see in live action.
Nice.
Hello, my friends.
Dude, we got the Ahsoka show coming up.
Yeah, and he was in Rebels.
Yeah, if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it in the Ahsoka show.
It'd be cool if they did have Ezra and he's trying to, hide his name. My name's Hondo Anaka.
Yeah.
But
you are not Hondo, I am Hondo.
Yeah. But yeah, what did you think of the episode in general?
I enjoyed it. I think it was a ton of fan service, but it was the good kind of fan service. I was surprised seeing Ahsoka. I was happy seeing Cobb Vanth. I thought that Cobb was going to have a little bit more. I thought we were going to see a little bit more of him. I think it leaves more questions than answers, and they're going to have a ton to wrap up next week. Seeing Cad Bane show up in live action was amazing. It's something I didn't know I needed. I'm sure our buddy Ted is freaking out right now. I didn't want to text him. I really wanted to text him being like, so what did you think of this episode? And I'm waiting to hear from him.
Tip him off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to spoil that for him. So I'm sure he'll have something to say on his podcast coming up, but yeah, I didn't know I needed to see Cad Bane in live action. That was amazing. And it just brings another element into this. I'm curious where we're going to go with Luke and Grogu, if this is going to be the end and we're going to have to wait for Mandalorian season 3 to figure out what happened. Which I kind of hoping we will, because it is it feels like they rushed some of the Mandalorian storyline, like they shoehorned it maybe into Book of Boba Fett, even though something they needed to do. Because they did it over an episode and a half, where they probably could have strung it out over a few episodes on Mandalorian season 3, but maybe it'll all make sense when in a few months. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll see Han Solo pop up and take Grogu back to Mandalorian. I don't know. I'm confused as to where the Han Solo cameo is going to come. Maybe freaking Kira shows up with Han Solo.
Well, they can't do that because he's with Leia.
Yeah.
But I think if Han's some sort of negotiator, if he's arrogant enough to think that on behalf of the New Republic, you can go to Tatooine and broker a deal and tell him, hey, it's me. Calm down.
Wow. There you go.
That's
a new theory.
Yeah, that'd be my guess as to how that would play out.
Dude, and then you're throwing in all kinds of EU stuff, because that's what Han and Leia did. Oh my God.
Yeah,
dude, why you gotta mess with me with that? Why you gotta throw stuff like that?
I gotta be like that. Why you gotta speak rational, man?
Or like, oh my God, then you could throw Leia in there, him and Leia, because they negotiate. That's what they did for the New Republic, dude, or the Republic.
Yeah. So do you want to see Leia though? Because she's no longer with us, Carrie Fisher. So is it after an actor is passed, they should retire the character?
Dude, I don't know. We could see Chewie. You could see Han and Chewie, even though Peter Mayhew's passed, but they've got that new guy playing Chewie. I don't know what the right answer is. If you would want to retire the character or get somebody new, or dude, I don't know how I feel about that. How do you feel?
I think it's appropriate to retire the character. If you're not going to recast, then just retire.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Although I'd be okay if they try to do what they did with Mark Hamill, try to synthesize things, because having characters in bright light is very tough to do, and that's part of the reason why it kind of doesn't work at the end of at the end of Rogue One with Carrie Fisher, because it's so white and so bright. There's nothing there to kind of hide some of the CG effects.
Gotcha.
And so I think they pretty much mastered it, because Luke looked pretty legit in this episode.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how many characters could they have on screen that they're doing that with at a time?
They can do as many as they can. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know how much I don't know how far you could push that technology. Could you have 3 people doing that at a time? I mean,
as long as it looks good. I mean, think about Back to the Future too. I mean, Michael J. Fox played 3 characters on screen at the same time. They could do it.
Yeah.
They could do it again. They split the screen up.
Yeah.
But there was where do I want to go? There's a couple things. There was over the holidays, Lucasfilm released, they had something for their employee gift, and on the spine of this gift, it was a book or something like that. They had the names of Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Visions. It was all the TV shows, and then there was Tales of the Jedi.
Yes.
And I'm like, wait, at the end of Book of Boba Fett, are we going to get a tag like we did with the Mandalorian announcing the Book of Boba Fett? We'll get a tag announcing Tales of the Jedi. It'd be about Luke.
And I mean, that would be cool. But at that point, would they recast him?
I don't think they need to. I think it's pretty close to what they would need to do. I don't know. Is it too distracting for you?
Yes and no. This time was a lot better than it was the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just sucks that our heroes are getting old and they got to do this kind of crap to get them back.
The other issue I think Star Wars is having with these shows is a branding issue. Because I think what they're doing is they're telling an overarching theme of the universe. Or not the theme. They're telling an overarching story in the universe, in the universe. But they're breaking it up in the Mandalorian season 2, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and we shouldn't expect that these shows will be completely 100% about those characters that are in the title. I think they're breaking it. They're obviously putting in like pieces, like this past couple episodes could have been out of the Mandalorian,
right,
and not Book of Boba Fett. So I think we should expect this from going forward. I think that was part of my problem in the Book of Boba Fett. I mean, the first couple episodes was all about Boba Fett. I don't know. I guess I struggled at first when I saw that whole episode of The Mandalorian, despite loving it.
Right. Well, I mean,
like, where's Boba Fett?
Yeah. Well, they did do it in Bad Batch. They had that Hera episode that was all Hera, and then Bad Batch shows up in the last 5 minutes.
Right.
So
and they did that in the Clone Wars. I mean, it wasn't always just following Anakin and Obi-Wan around. They had that one episode with droids and a frog Jedi.
Oh my God.
That carried on too long.
Do
you remember that one?
Is that the one where he's in the desert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing to see. There was nothing really visually attractive. It was just this frog telling droids what to do for 4 episodes.
Oh, that was.
I remember watching it and being so relieved when those 4 episodes had concluded, because I'm just like, I can't deal with this anymore.
Wow. Yeah, Mandy was talking about maybe wanting to watch Clone Wars, and I'm like, it's 7 seasons, and she's like, nope, not gonna do it.
7 seasons in a movie.
Yeah. Exactly. 7 seasons in a movie.
But I loved it. I did like this episode. I loved where they went with it and where they took it, and it's unexpected. And I like Luke a lot better than I thought I would.
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job with Luke this go round. I think.
Yeah.
Then we have to remember this.
Compartmentalize.
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 Compartmentalize. I did it.
Yes.
Compartmentalize. We sound crazy tonight.
Yeah, we do. But dude, we needed to get this on tape because we couldn't have waited a week and a half and nobody would have cared. I think in a week and a half when we talked about it.
Well, it'd be longer than that. It'd be like 2 weeks before we record. So
yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, the next episode we'll do a wrap up of episode 7. Then we'll do a full season wrap up, and then I think we're going to run into the Phantom Menace since there was a lot of references. And I don't know if we'll do a play by play like we've done in the past, but we'll just talk about the Phantom Menace, what we like, what we didn't like.
Yeah, I want to rewatch. I may give it a week to breathe. The Book of Boba Fett. I don't know. We have to sit down and I'd like to rewatch the whole season before we do a recap on it. I don't know. Well, I may change my mind in a week. I don't freaking know.
You'll get too excited. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Just like tonight, we had to record this emergency episode.
You loved it.
Oh, I did. I loved everything about it. It was a very incredible episode. It's the premiere of Cad Bane in live action. So now I can't wait for, I don't know, Hasbro to take 2 years to make that version of him. And then.
Oh, let me see. Just for shits and giggles, eBay.
What are you looking up?
Cad.
The customized version from
today?
Cad
Bane, because they had a 6-inch version of Cad Bane, remember?
Oh, I have that.
All right, they're not going too much.
Oh, really?
No, they haven't skyrocketed yet.
What are they sitting at?
They're sitting at $50. One's at $27. One's at $31 with free shipping. The Black Series Clone Wars version.
Yeah, there's 2 versions that were released: the regular version of Clone Wars, and then there was the deluxe version, which was I got lucky because I pulled over. I was on a 7-hour drive to Florida. And I pulled over at a rest station, and it just happened to go live. Had I not just pulled over at the right time, I would not have been able to order that on Hasbro Pulse. But yeah, that one came with his droid from the Clone Wars as well.
Well, it hadn't happened like it did in the with the other thing, with the N1 Naboo Starfighter. Not yet, anyway.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So what do you think we're going to see next week?
I think next week is going to be all-out war that they've been promising since the start, and I think we're actually going to see Fennec Shand kill people.
Ooh.
I think Boba Fett will get his. I think it's going to get bad for Boba Fett before it gets good again. He's going to get pinned down. He's going to try to do it his respectful way.
Unless he just gets pissed off because they blew up the sanctuary.
It's possible. And he just tells Fennec, it's time. Go.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to say Han Solo comes in to negotiate a truce.
Here's my feeling, and this is just sort of how I've seen things play out in other shows. They're going to have like 45 minutes of buildup and then 15 minutes of war, and then it's going to be over.
I could see that. I don't want that, but
I don't want that either. I want that gritty Boba Fett that Roger Rodriguez promised us.
Yeah.
That we've seen Mandalorian kick more ass than we did Boba Fett. But like you said, I think it's going to be a linear or whatever. We're going to see a little bit of everything in every show. So just get ready for, everybody showing up in Ahsoka and showing up in Mandalorian season 3. And yeah.
Yep.
This is what we wanted as Star Wars fans. So quit bitching.
I'm not bitching.
I'm not bitching either. Everybody else needs to quit bitching. I'm enjoying it.
I think everybody's pretty much on board at this point.
Yeah. Well, people were still pissed off that it was Book of Boba Fett and it was Mandalorian. And people are still griping that Boba Fett was only in this episode for 5 minutes and didn't say 2 words.
Well, look, there's people who like to separate their food on their plate and eat the turkey before you eat the mashed potatoes, before you eat the corn. And then there's others who just love a garbage plate, throw that shit together and let's eat it.
I like corn and mashed potatoes mixed together. It's
I
good
don't.
stuff.
I'm the kind of person who likes, and because I don't know, I'm the kind of person who likes the food stopper. I don't mind if I have a little mashed potatoes on my turkey or whatever, but I do like eating my turkey and enjoying my turkey, and then eating my mashed potatoes and enjoying my mashed potatoes.
Oh, geez.
Sorry for the swearing.
It's all right.
So,
Yeah,
anything else?
I think that's it, man. Unless there's anything. Yeah, I look forward to seeing where this thing goes and seeing where, how long it's going to be before we see the Grogu Luke Skywalker storyline wrap up.
Yeah, me too.
And I want Grogu to get out of those damn pajamas.
Yeah, he needs a costume change. He's gonna wear chainmail. He's gonna look like a Mandalorian with a helmet or something. No, that'll be too silly. And I think that's the line. They can't cross that line. That's gonna look goofy.
I was a little disappointed that it was a chainmail shirt. It didn't make sense to me.
I told you what it's gonna be.
Yeah, well, you saw what it was, but it just didn't make sense.
It's like Mithril from Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
This really strong chainmail.
Okay. Well, it's Beskar.
Okay, nerd. Yeah, well, it's from Lord of the Rings. It's called Mithril. It's special metal, and it's just like Beskar. It's the Beskar of the Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
it's really strong.
Is it
and
like
it's worth
that
lots
metal?
Of money.
Is it like that metal they put in Wolverine?
Adamantium.
Yes.
I don't know if it's unbreakable. I think it is. It's because it's strong. You have to be. Yeah, adamantium is different though, but it is unbreakable. It could. Yeah, because she was saying, the armor was saying that we need to wrap this up. The Beskar spear can pierce Beskar metal, just like adamantium. The only thing that can destroy it is itself.
Well,
so in many ways, it's like that.
Could it pierce Captain America's shield?
That's vibranium. Someone's screaming because I'm sure there's a comic that I'm not sure of.
I just like how I've got you on this tangent, man.
Yeah,
it's great.
Oh, I closed all my verbiage for the end of the show. Shoot. I'm trying to wrap up, and then I just closed everything out because I have a script that I wrote for myself. Anyways, any other questions?
No, I'm gonna stop messing with you. So
you can go pack for your Chewbacca festival.
I'm gonna pack tomorrow night. I got.
Is it gonna be like a rave? You're gonna have like glow lights?
No, but I did not. I did buy myself a life preserver though.
For what?
A costume. I bought an orange vest.
Oh, okay. You're going as Marty McFly.
Yeah, I've got the shoes and I've got a jean jacket and an orange vest, so I figured people will get it.
There you go.
Yeah,
you're Marty McFly. So thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. If you could, please leave a like and 5-star review of our show anywhere you listen to our podcast. It really helps us out and it points people to our show. Follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Send us a message or email us. We love the feedback and we'll make you part of the show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo and Levi Waterhouse for the music. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is
the way.